Well, I just decided to have a light live because, um, it's my birthday in about an hour, so I'm just sitting here not doing shit. My wife went to bed. So I'm just going to sit here. Maybe somebody will come in and chat. I don't know. Maybe not. Just in case someone might want to come in and chat for my birthday. I don't care. I'm not really in a. I don't know. I just I haven't done a. Haven't done a live and I don't know. About a few months. Sure no one's going to come in here, but that doesn't mean I can't sit here and just chat. But just in case somebody wants to, there's the StreamYard link for like the first time in about a month and a half or longer maybe. I've noticed that even when I do a live, nobody seems to come in here. If they do, they only stay for a minute. But I haven't really been speaking on the gang stalking end, except for when I do a short PSA, basically. I've really no other thing to do right now. It's 10:55 on on a Monday night. And like I said, in about an hour and 5 minutes, I'll be officially a year older. I'm going to sit here and have my last few jelly beans. Hasn't really been a lot going on besides the same old with the on the Gang Stalker front. B2K still there. Dream manipulation still there. Every now and then they like to use the ultrasound to poke you in places like your feet or your chest, or give you a headache. But after a lot of my research, I understand why you have the ringing in your ear, because it's not tinnitus. It's the high-pitched frequency of the ultrasound. The last little live I did, showing the information about how they're using ultrasound to do the EEG detection and stimulate your brain with it, with the BCI. Like I said, I left the link to that page in the description of that little 3 or 4 minute live or whatever it was. You can find it and look it up yourself. I've been doing my best not to interact with them too much on B2K. Not like you really have to try. If you think it, they can see it. Now, unless, of course, they have, depending on what API they have installed on their BCI, whether it's the one where it turns text to speech, whatever, or video, depending on which API they installed or are using at the moment. Generally, I think they use the this is just my opinion, they use the text mostly, but when they want to show images of what you're seeing or what you're thinking from the brain activity or whatever you're looking at, if you're watching a video or whatever, like I said, depending on whatever API they have installed on the BCI, that the AI will translate in real time to images. I'm not for sure what depending on what they're game is for the day. I imagine if they're not setting their streaming um, their video or whatever live of their own or whatever they're doing, I'm sure they're probably just collecting data and harassing you that way and looking at the information without going through all the trouble of translating it into video. Now, when you're asleep, when they're implanting the movie dreams, as I like to call them, that's what the Muse BCI headset application API is able to implant you in the dream, kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Hardcore Henry or whatever it is, where it shows the whole movie is done basically looking through the eyes of the person, Henry, that they've implanted with all these devices and shit. And you see basically through their eyes, but like I said, depending on which API they're using at the time, if they're not using all the different versions for their streaming purposes. That's basically redundant to speculate on, because trying to know the mind of the gang stalkers is kind of difficult. I mean, since they're kind of psychotic, and for the most part, everything they're trying to do is lie about whatever they've got going on anyway. But in general, you can assume that whatever they're telling you is the opposite of what they're telling their audience. But you can decide that for yourself. I'm not telling you how to think about this. I'm not telling you what opinion to have. I'm just voicing mine. And from my research and my experience, that's what I've gleaned from most of it. And researching. But like I said, the AI portion is basically just used to expedite the data, or transform the data into the EEG data that they've acquired from you through the BCI detection, whichever method they're using, whether it be MEG detection, infrared detection, ultrasound detection. The AI is just used to transform that into whatever information they want, whether they want it to be just sound, or they want it to be text, or they want it to be images, sound, and text. It depends on how far they want to go. Like I said before, you don't have to take my word for any of this. You can do the research on your own, where you can look at the information and the research that I provided, and you'll probably come to the same or close to the, to the hypotheses that I have. which gets to the theory that no matter what you've done, it's going to be morphed into something horrible, regardless. I mean, if you're sitting there eating dinner, they're gonna make some, they're gonna make fun of how you eat, or make fun of, any, they're going to make you out to be the bad guy, no matter what the situation. Um, but right now I'm just sitting here. I was thinking. Like I said, I haven't been in here in a long time. I don't. There's nobody in here. Probably not going to be. That's kind of part of the reason I stopped having lives, because for the most part, the perps don't come in here anymore. They don't come in here because they know that they're not getting from me what they want, and I'm not going to fall for their bullshit. So they know that, it's a waste of their time to come in here and start trying to say that gang stalking isn't real, or saying, why do you think you're targeted? Why would anybody target you? You're not important, blah, blah, blah. The same old shit that all of you hear. They know they're not going to get the response from me that they want. They're not going to get me angry. They're not going to get me to try and reason with them, because there is no reasoning with them. Because no matter how factual your responses are, they're going to flip them upside down and, like I said, turn it out to put you in a bad light, no matter what the situation. So you don't really need to fall into that trap, which a lot of people have. Partially why I've said I'm not responding to their B2K, their social cues, whatever you want to call it, the manipulation. For the most part, if they say some shit that, gets under my skin a little bit, or is just as blatant, as stupid as it can be, I'll reply in my community page, so that there's really no way they can manipulate what I have imagined or thought. So that way the indication that they try to contend, for the most part, that I and other targets, consent to this, and that, using their deep fake or their impersonation of you, they've got an actor portraying you on whatever platform they're using to spew their bullshit about you. It leaves less of a trail, I guess. But for the most part, I don't go and hop on lives or whatever. The only other place I've ever got on for like the last, since after I stopped being on the panel with Will Orth on his thing. The only other place that I have appeared in any form is on MKB and Broken Justice's channel, and I was only on there for a matter of 2 minutes. And I haven't done any lives for any length of time since the time when I said that I'm not going to be doing any more Friday lives, which I haven't, and I'm not going to. For that reason, basically, is just because I don't need to give them any more content to like for nerd perv gorilla to plaster on his page and make a mockery of, like he does with my art, or with whatever he does to every other target with his stalking antics, because that's all that shit is. It's not beneficial for anybody. It's just because he's an asshole. But that's fine. He can be an asshole. I'm just sitting here smoking my tobacco out of my pipe. Here. Just so you know, this is what I'm doing. I'm just sitting here right here with this. I got tobacco. This is not weed. This is tobacco. And this pipe has tobacco in it. Because I can't afford cigarettes at the moment. And I'm not going to go spend money on cigarettes that I don't have. It may prove to enlighten you on some subjects if you do choose to look at any of the videos I provide, or any of the links I supply in my community page about brain-computer interface. As I've said, I think the ideology behind how they're saying so much about AI is a distraction from the actual monster, which is brain-computer interface, which AI can really do nothing to harm you without being connected to brain-computer interface technology. Granted, they can use AI to do deep fakes on you. They can use AI to voice clone. They can use AI to, do a number of things. But as far as the mind reading part, that cannot be done without brain-computer interface. AI cannot do that on its own. It's not possible. It's not capable of that without a brain-computer interface. Because the BCI gathers the EEG data, or the brain data, and the AI transfers and transforms that into graphical user information. And the real mystery, about, let's just say, Havana syndrome and gang stalking, which are basically the same animal, is how these so-called intelligence agencies don't seem to know what's going on, when it's pretty simple. It's pretty self-explanatory. All they'd have to do is listen to the scientists that made this shit, and some of us people that have experienced it and done research about it, like myself, because it's no mystery to me anymore what's happening with it. Um, but somehow they if it's for whatever security reasons that they don't want Joe Schmo public to know what their movements are or how they're choosing to proceed in the investigations, or it's a more horrible premise that they do know exactly what's going on and they choose to put their head under a rock about it because they don't want it to stop. They're more than happy to allow you to be tormented, harassed, threatened, defamed, character assassinated, and then ultimately killed. They're more than happy to allow that to come to fruition. I don't like to feel like that's the case, but given the information provided, that's pretty much my summation, that they don't give a fuck about whether they're doing this or not, as long as it isn't costing them money. They don't care about your lives. Just like, let's say when you go to the ICS3 website and you report something, if you don't have a monetary value to attach to it, they're not going to spend any time investigating it. So it's not about people's lives, it's about money. And the people that are involved in gang stalking are using it to make money, and they don't care about the people that they hurt in the process. It's unfortunate that I have to feel that way about the structure in place that is supposed to be there to protect you and your interests for your, life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, privacy, and the ability to move forward with your life without, obstruction by some foreign entity that has no regard for your well-being, as long as they're making money. You can argue that point with me, feel free, but from a logical standpoint, it's the only outcome that I can come to from it. I've tried to be humane about it, that maybe this is all just a big game, which it's not. That's generally the consensus from a lot of people, that this is just some kind of big game or simulation, but it's not. It is a conspiracy, and a lot more people know about it than will ever admit. A lot more people are involved in it that will ever admit. Just like the average gang stalker on the street, when you were to confront them, will say, I don't know what you're talking about. That's basically the general response you get from the agencies that you speak with, or law enforcement, or government. They don't know what you're talking about, and they don't want to hear it. So that's why I've came to the realization that you have to help yourself. You have to learn about this yourself, and you have to protect yourself. And that's why in the future I have, every intention of acquiring my own BCI system and detection methods. And since it's apparently not illegal for them to do it, it shouldn't be illegal for me to do it. In protection of myself, to poke inside the gang stalkers' heads and pull data out of their heads and use it against them like they do to us. Granted, if I were so inclined, I could use the technology to harm their organs, or, make them never sleep, or infect their dreams with, horrible, disgusting nightmares, or whatever, you want to call them, like they do us. Or put it on automation using an agent swarm, and with the AI agent swarm, and just leave it running and let it torture them until they lose their fucking minds. But see, I have no desire to do that. My desire is to use the BCI to record my own EG data, and with all the information that they've shoved in my head from all their threats, all their blather 24/7 on B2K, to bring them to justice and to prove that gang stalking is real and these sick bastards are there, and you're ignoring them isn't going to do anybody any help. You're not going to do anybody any favors ignoring the gang stalkers. And when they threaten you with death threats, and your family with death threats, and how they're going to ruin your life and steal your identity and steal all your passwords and all the information they can get from you, and you report it, and you get a glassy eye look from the people that you report it to, and you never hear back from them, you're on your own. So if you're on your own, I guess you are supposed to be like some vigilante Batman and save yourself. But the normal nomenclature is to be happy, right? They want you to get help. They want you to get help. What kind of help? You're not giving us any kind of legal help. They want you to resign yourself that you're the problem, that you need some kind of medication or blah, 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 when that's not the case. No matter how many drugs you take, it's not going to stop sick bastards with technology from harassing you 24 hours a day. No matter how many therapists you confide in or lawyers you confide in, that's not going to stop gang stalkers from harassing you and causing sleep deprivation and attacking your genitals or your feet or your neck or your arm or your family. So, as I said, you're on your own. So unless you just like being, harassed and tormented and tortured by gang stalkers, you would do some research and maybe listen to people that have and that know what's going on, rather than complain that they're not showing you enough evidence or proving it. And mocking them for trying to save their own lives, and spend all your time demeaning them for trying to raise awareness about the subject. You would want to lend a hand up instead of a foot on their neck. Unless, of course, you're gang stalkers, and that's your job, is to hold them down. Which, for the most part, that seems what's happening. Groups like Targeted Justice and PAX International like to say they're trying to help targets, but I for the most part, I haven't seen any change in the situation due to their efforts. But that's, I guess that's to be expected. But when you do see someone like giving their testimony of their experiences, or trying to provide you with information, or showing you videos or literature on the subject, rather than condemning them and trying to mock what they're just trying to offer you, like a perp would, you would think that being a human, feeling, empathetic being, you would show them a little compassion rather than distress. But anyway, I can't force you to come over to my way of thinking. And I have no desire to do that. But I can and will explain my position in the event that you might wake up. I'm gonna not sit here and, and act like I have all the answers. I'm not going to do like some people do and tell you because you don't know anything about a subject you're stupid. Like, for instance, Nerve Gorilla. Also not going to sit here and attack other people that say they're targeted like some people do. If you're truly targeted, you're not going to go out of your way to try and point fingers at other people that maintain they are targeted. You're not providing them any assistance, and you're making yourself look like an idiot. Stop it. So let's just say that you're one of these people that know what's happening, and you see it happening, and you do nothing. For whatever reason, for self-preservation, out of fear, or lack of empathy, what have you. Well, when they come for you, if they do, would you appreciate the same treatment? Or would you feel bad that nobody's willing to help you? I know it's ingrained in human nature that the self-preservation, fight or flight. But are you going to be the person that runs or the one that stands and fights? I personally am going to stand and fight. I wouldn't condemn somebody for running away, because it's a horrible thing to be targeted. I personally don't sit here and complain about the types of torture that I have to go through every day. I don't sit here and make videos about how they're attacking my heart or my head or the dreams. I'm not going to sit here and lay out every little detail. How they, zap your genitals. But I'm not going to sit here and condemn the people that do. You have to handle this in the way that best suits you when you're targeted. I'm not going to sit here and condemn people for saying, oh, you don't show enough evidence, or you don't take any videos of the one headlight cars, or the red cars, or the red shirts, or the perp Karens, or the helicopters, or you don't sit here and complain about V2K all day, or getting shocked in the nuts, or how they've stolen your identity, or how they stole your passwords, how they've screwed you over with some kind of insurance policy ploy. I'm not gonna condemn anyone for doing that. You have to handle this how you see fit. So I'm going to handle this the way I see fit. When I say I fully intend to get a brain-computer interface and use it against them, I totally mean it. Now, whether one day I'm feeling really angry and I decide to figure out how to shock their balls with it, I'm going to do that. If I'm feeling really angry and I want to figure out how that, I'm going to make them have a heart attack and they won't fucking keel over, I'm going to do that. Not because I choose to want to harm anyone, but if anybody deserves to be harmed in that manner, it's the ones terrorizing us in that manner. You don't have to agree with me. Some of you I don't expect to. But that isn't going to sway my opinion. I'm not going to try and incite other people to harm gang stalkers, even though they should, from my standpoint, be stood up against the wall to a firing squad. But that's neither here nor there. As I said before, you have to deal with the struggle of being targeted in your own way. If you feel like you have to film every minute of every day, that's your prerogative. Personally, as I've said, I don't carry a phone with me. I have a phone, but I don't carry my phone with me and hold it up every time I feel like I'm being perped. And mainly I don't do that because of the short video I did last night about California being a two-party state, that if you're recording, that all parties involved need to consent. Now, gang stalkers don't give a flying fuck if you consent. They don't care that you don't want this done to you. They're going to do it anyway. And the reason they're able to do that is because there are people that allow them to do it. And by people, I mean law enforcement. I mean, I hate to say it, the companies that invented the technology didn't implement safeguards to guard against this, to guard against the BCI being used on a person without their consent. But you need to take it how you want to take it. If you have a better solution than I have provided by acquiring your own brain-computer interface and using it in tandem with artificial intelligence and infrared camera or electromagnetic detection and pointing it at your gang stalkers, that's on you. I don't know if this is going to reveal any kind of solution. But I do know that if you do have one, a brain-computer interface, or have access to one or can get one, have the money to buy one, which I haven't got yet, it would behoove you to use it on yourself and to just, be able to prove that you're targeted through your own brain, from your own experiences, from all the EEG data that, you can glean from all the times that they've threatened you, all the times they've harassed you, all the times they've zapped you in the nuts, in your genitals, in your rectum, or kept you awake for days at a time, or constantly bombarded you with V2K, because it is all in there. Every second of your torture is there, saved in your brain through your memory. And you have the ability to pull it out through brain-computer interface technology, which is part of the tools that they're using to harm you with. They aren't going to stop. They have no intention of stopping. And there is no task force out there looking for them. If anything, all the task force are out there trying to disregard them and either kiss their ass or just ignore it. And that's why I say that how they have came to the AI being able to mind read. Well, AI isn't able to do any of that without brain-computer interface technology. The real monster is brain-computer interface technology. It's the device that reads your mind. AI just translates it into information you can understand. Like I said, I know this from research and from reading. Reading. Come on, lighter. Because they're not going to stop. No one's trying to make them stop. No one in power is even willing to recognize that they exist, let alone try to bring them to justice for all the crimes they commit 24 hours a day. And I see that I've had a couple people come in here, but I have 0 viewers. I understand that you don't want to hear what I have to say about this. Whether you're scared, whether you don't think it's pertinent, I really don't care. All I know is I'm only one of many that deal with being targeted, being a targeted individual 24 hours a day. . Yeah, I'm not alone in being targeted, but it still doesn't do any good, doesn't make you feel better. To know that hundreds, if not thousands, tens of thousands of other people are dealing with exactly what you're dealing with, that only makes you feel worse. It makes you feel worse that because no one is willing to recognize. So, happy birthday to me. Have a good night.